Hello, this is Bow and Arrow Tarot. Welcome to the 7th episode of Tuesday Air. Everyone, this is my weekly live tarot reading for the air signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And without any further ado, I'm going to jump right into it with Gemini. You can see them on the deck with that sun energy and that air energy. There are no planets in Gemini today, which I normally would lay out for you. So we're just going to get right into it. And go straight into cutting your deck and getting on with your general reading. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm always excited Tuesday mornings because it's the beginning of my general readings week. We're starting off with the air signs on Tuesday. All right, guys. Gemini, let's get right into it. 3 of Swords, Emperor, 3 of Wands, and the Hanged Man. The second energy, King of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, Hierophant, and 7 of Swords. Wow. Okay, bottom of the deck today, we have Death. So, excuse me, you can see, there we go, Death. So, the tarot card for Scorpio. Some of you may be dealing with Scorpio energy or Scorpios, individuals who may have Scorpio energy. But I'm going to come back to that Death card in a moment. Really major card in tarot for transformation, big, huge change, right? A loss coming in. But before we get to that, right away, Gemini, damn. Betrayal, right? 3 of Swords, betrayal. Gemini, you're coming into the week with some feelings, right? Some serious feelings of distrust, hurt. You feel like somebody really kind of like stabbed you in the back. I think something went on most recently where, you may have been listening to people. There may have been a lot of gossip around and things like that. But something occurred that really, really, really hurt your feelings. And just really broke a trust, a bond that you have with someone out there. We're going to go much deeper, of course, as we get into the clarifiers and really hone this message in. But right away, there is a feeling of being like, well, damn, And at the same time, it's making you feel like, your immediate reaction, of course, is making you feel like putting some serious boundaries in place. I think this is a week where you're upset about this event that happened. You're hurt by it, and you're also reacting very much like, look, okay, this is how it's going to be. That's fine. You can be outside this boundary. You can be outside this boundary. You can be like, you're setting up boundaries. You're coming back quite hard and being like, look, okay, if this is how we're going to play things, then these are my rules. Right. Waiting for more information. I think at the same time, you're trying to figure out what is actually at the bottom of all of this, right? Feels to me, Gemini, this may not necessarily be a love reading, but this is indeed a reading to do with your social circle, right? And people who you hold very dear. Now, we are going to go deeper with these clarifiers. We may see that this is indeed to do with a love interest. But right away, this initially feels to me very much like friends, like very, very close friends who may have hurt your feelings, may have done something. Then there's also an issue here with money, wanting to hold on to your money as well. It could be, before I go further into this money issue, let's pull some clarifiers. Temperance energy. Yeah, you're really holding your King of Pentacles. Money is definitely an issue here, okay? So there's something going on here, definitely with money or with a feeling of being responsible for someone or someone asking you to be responsible for them. Knight of Wands energy coming in. Interesting. Okay, Ace of Cups. Could be a love connection as well coming in. There's a love connection here that's involved. I don't think that this issue is to do with a love connection. As I say, I think this issue is definitely to do with money and individuals who have come into you recently. And something went on with that money. And again, this trust was very much broken, right? And you begin to sort of pull back and say, maybe I'm not willing to help you. Maybe I'm not willing to extend myself so much. I really need to concentrate on myself and my security. You also feel a little bit threatened. This event that happens that really makes you feel like you can't trust anyone around you, that really feels like a real betrayal, is also affecting you monetarily, in as much as it's making you feel much more protective of your money, of your job. You know what I mean? It's like you're immediately withdrawing energy and access to you by certain people, You're withdrawing that access that they have to your cash, to your time, to your energy. You're just immediately pulling back and being quite protective, I think, Gemini. As well, at the same time, as I say, you're waiting for some more information to come in. Again, it feels strongly like some of this is hearsay, right? Some of this is hearsay. Some of this situation here that seems to be quite fraught with a lot of strife and tension amongst your social group, your friend group, your close friend group, seems to also be based on communication that you're not sure you can trust. There's also a love interest that comes in. Now, I think this may be for you. You may be meeting a new love interest that's also feels like it may be impacting the situation. For example, sort of, you and some close friends may now suddenly have some strife. This falls out, I'll take it, because things are changing and you're making more time for a love interest and less time for them, right? Ten of Pentacles is there. You're definitely doing well with your money. And whatever fears you do have about people interfering with your money or your security here, or through this situation where, like I said, right now you're not trusting a lot. There's nothing to be worried about there in that regard, because you are absolutely on top of your cash, right? There's a feeling here also of you really wanting to sort of pull back from some behaviors that may have been, you may have been playing with fire, right? You may have been living on the wild side a little bit, and you're feeling like, yeah, I need to get grounded again in who I am. And, I feel like to a certain degree, you feel a little bit like because you extended yourself, that's why you got burned over here. There's a feeling of victimhood here. You do feel kind of like a victim here, I want to say, Gemini. Like, why did this have to happen to me? I don't deserve this. Listen, we all feel like that sometimes, but it's very important to remember that that's quite a toxic energy. I mean, it's all right to feel like that, right? But it's like you really want to snap yourself out of that kind of energy very quickly. It's natural to feel like that sometimes when you've been wronged, right? But the mind state of a victim, when you allow yourself to stay in that space, is toxic. You can be a victim, anyone is a victim. We are all victims of something, but to stay in that space, to adopt it, right? To adopt it and identify with it is where you get into toxicity. Ten of Swords energy coming in, also Gemini. So this is a big transformation, transition stage, and this is why we have death coming in as well, because let me pull one more, and there's your Six of Pentacles. I'm not surprised for that to show up, because you, like I said, you're going through a period right now, Gemini, where you're learning some life lessons here. You're dealing with some friends and some social groups that are shifting and changing. And some of what's going on here is also because you're shifting and changing. Your responsibilities are changing. Your aims, your focus, what you desire is changing. You're growing, right? And in amongst that, there's a new love interest for some of you, which is sort of impacting. And at the same time, there's some behaviors here amongst this social group. When I say your social group, I'm not talking about just randos. I'm talking about your good friend group, right? Your close friend, your tribe. There's some things that happen that are really painful, that have really hurt your feelings. You've been like, wow, I can't believe they would do that. Some of these things definitely have to do with money. And a lot of this is also because as you're growing, they're growing, and everyone's getting a bit older, more mature, or they're growing into a certain space. And then let me say, when I say growing and being more mature, this has nothing to do with age. We continually have stages of growth and maturity throughout our lives. So I'm not talking about age, older, younger, middle age, whatever. I'm just talking about situations that change and grow. And this is what you're going through. So there's a little bit of growing pains here. Also, you're having to reestablish some boundaries with some people. You're having to really reestablish your boundaries with your money. You may, for a short time over this next few weeks, really just pull back and not offer to pay for stuff, not offer to be there, not offer, you may withdraw, as I said, some of your energy. And you also are still kind of smarting from what happened. You still feel kind of like you need to lick your wounds. Nevertheless, a huge change is coming in. This has all precipitated a big change and growth. You're going to be leaving behind some childish behavior that was associated with this group. Ten of Swords is there, you know, in the sense that you are really changing. You're going to resonate up to a different you that's much more mature. The same type of things aren't going to hurt you in the future as they hurt you here. So that's what I'm saying. There's a real growth here. Do take care, as I said, not to feel too much like a victim. Oh, poor me, because everybody right now is going through something in this group. Because, as I said, you all individually are changing right now and progressing into different places and stages in life, each individually, and it is affecting the dynamic of the group and impacting you in this way. Nevertheless, you eventually come right back to, over the next few weeks, being your old self. You're very generous, Gemini. You're very gregarious. You're very generous. But I think there are still some more lessons you're going to learn here with that, because there is treachery on deck here for you. And it does feel indeed like, pull a couple more cards. It does feel indeed like you may get burned again a few more times before you really learn a lesson here about giving too much, right? Because this betrayal over here that you're dealing with is about you, you know, being really kind and giving and helpful with this particular either group of friends or particular friend, etc., and like sort of being burned for it, or being sort of betrayed in the end, right? And this may be a running theme here for this particular Gemini. You know, you're someone who's generous and willing to give, and then something happens and it really hurts your heart. And again, it comes around again here, right? You give again, you begin to sort of open up again, and sure enough, you have some Thief of the Night energy coming in, taking advantage. So the lesson here ultimately as well is Gemini is of learning how not to be taken advantage. And again, this is, I think, something that you're going through here. Eventually you'll come through this and learn this lesson, and you'll be in a different space. But yeah, so some tricky stuff, some rocky stuff when it comes to friendships and relationships over the next couple of weeks. You do have a new love interest, though, that comes in. And that really kind of keeps you, and of course, more Pentacles energy. Money, 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 security, security, job, job. This new love interest definitely keeps you very sort of, keeps you a little bit distracted from all of this and happy. Nevertheless, you are going through some difficult things right now with some friends and some social dynamics amongst your friend groups. And it's a little bit difficult. Page of Pentacles is there telling you your money is straight, though. Trust me. Listen, Gemini. You know, you have the money. You have the money to offer. And any little anxiety you have about your security is, you know, it's just like, you know, it doesn't mean much. It's just fleeting anxiety. It goes away. Because ultimately, the one thing that you're assured of, as far as resonating with this reading, is that you're keeping on top of your paper nicely, right? You have King of Pentacles over there, you know. Spirit of the Key, Zombie. Spirit and Spirit of the Lighthouse. The Spirit of the Key, solution, wisdom, spiritual knowledge, all right, coming in. Excellent energy. Zombie Spirit, control, submissive. Again, watch out. That energy is around, especially probably dealing with some of this social dynamic issues you have here. Spirit of the Lighthouse, okay, returning, belonging, guiding light. Excuse me. Coming in for you, Gemini, all right. And that's a really nice, strong, secure energy as well coming through. All right. Take those oracles as they apply to you. If they do, oracle cards are often quite personal. And there's a feeling there that sometimes you can't really describe. It's just up to you if it speaks to you. But for right now, Gemini, that is your reading. A little difficult period over the next few weeks, growing pains. Ultimately, I don't see a falling out or a big separation or breakup or, you know, tragic ending to any group of friends here or social scene that you're in. It's just the energies are all getting rejudged. Everybody's sort of reshuffling and finding how they want to interact, their position, etc. And so there's a little bit of upheaval right now, but it is a good thing, and it's a thing that's helping you learn. And the most important lesson here in this particular reading is learning not to be taken advantage of, learning not to always extend yourself and then be heartbroken when your extension is not accepted or appreciated or respected the way you expect it to be. All right, guys. All right, let me take a sip of tea and take a moment, and then we're going to get right into the sign of Libra. As I say, This is the 11 o'clock every Tuesday air. We're on episode 7. If you enjoy my readings, give me a like. I do up a live stream throughout the week, so if you want to join, subscribe to my channel and get notified, you can know whenever I live stream. I live stream almost basically every single day except Saturdays. And I have a pretty set schedule of readings. Today is all about air. Tuesdays is always all about air. So we do the general reading in the morning. And then this evening I'll be back at 6 o'clock with the individual love readings for all 3 of the air signs. Starting at 6 o'clock with Gemini. 6:30 I do Libra. And at 7 is Aquarius. So, yes, join me for that. So we're going to leave this here. Let us pull out that sun and that air and get it ready for Libra to come on deck. And again, no planets in Libra today either, so we're just going to leave that there for you to take a moment to meditate on, take a deep breath, sit back, relax. Ultimately, these readings are supposed to be enjoyable, right? So I always want to remind you folks that whatever message comes through, it's not always going to be for you. If it doesn't resonate at all, or if you feel like, wow, this just doesn't make sense to me, then just leave it there. That message isn't for you. That means that message is for somebody else. All right. And that's fine. And then sometimes you'll be like, wow, that really hits home. And then you know for certain that you've come to the reading for a reason, because that message is indeed for you. So again, that's how it goes. Take a moment, and then we're going to go ahead and get right into cutting your deck. I want one more shuffle. All right. Let's cut your deck, Libra, and we will get into your general reading. These readings, can also resonate with you if you just have Libra energy in your chart. Okay? You don't always have to be a Libra sun. And again, I always encourage my viewers to go ahead and get their natal chart done. You don't have to know what time you're born necessarily to get the basic planets. You may not know in detail your houses and rising and things like that, but you could at least get your basic planetary positions and numerous sites online that are free. And that's really going to help you. You may have a Libra, you may be a Libra, you may have a Leo moon, and you might want to then check out the Leo readings because they may resonate with you more. But anyway, let's get on with it. We have the Magician, 5 of Cups, 6 of Swords, and the Devil. Knight of Cups, 6 of Cups. Wow. King of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. Wow. 4 of Cups. All right. 4 of Cups energy. Are you going to focus for me? No, my camera's not going to focus on that. You see how it decides? 4 of Cups energy. Somebody not taking a cup of love. So, damn, Libra. Libra, you never disappoint. Coming in this week with Magician energy, you are feeling on top of things right now. You feel like you're on fire, like everything is doing very well. You just feel really good in your skin. You're doing really well at work. You're doing really well at home. You're doing really well with your friends. Everything's kind of coming together, and there's also a love interest there, There's a love connection there that you're making a lot of traction with. You're moving towards, right? I think you might be moving towards taking the next step when it comes to a love interest. You might be asking somebody to marry you over the next few weeks, or move in, like whatever that next step is for you to make the relationship permanent. You're ready to do it. However, there's still a mourning here, which is interesting. 5 of Cups energy here, Libra. You're still missing somebody. All right. You're still missing someone. You're still missing a certain connection. You're still pining away for something that you had in the past that broke up. And yet you are very happy right now with who you are with, and you're all prepared to move that ball forward. It's a desire and it feels good. And there's no value there. But there is, interestingly enough, this very real 5 of Cups energy of missing someone there. And, this energy has been in your readings for the last few weeks. I remember as I mentally go back the past Tuesday air readings, general readings, and also some of your love readings. I'll link those in the description. So this week in general, I'm going to say, though, you have this kind of mourning. You're doing really well in every area, Libra, but this mourning, the sadness you have for this loss, it's causing you to want to get away. Some of you may sort of, you have devil energy. Some of you may begin to play with a little bit of fire. You may be wanting to go away, to get away. You may have run in to someone. It almost feels like a backlash, right? Libra, you may have seen somebody most recently that you miss or broke up with, that's an ex that you still hold dear feelings for, that you're still kind of thinking about and missing them and all of that. And that kind of sends you into this mode, like where you're like, oh, I got to get away. Maybe I'll go have a drink. I'm going to, and you're also currently with somebody, and all of a sudden you're really excited and passionate about being with them. And it's like you're doing all of this reactionary stuff. You're just reacting as a response to this that comes into this feeling. So for some of you, you may have run into an ex and it really just kind of not devastates you, but it just throws you into a chaos. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups. Yeah. Star energy. Yeah, so you're trying, listen, Libra, this is the thing. I feel like when this broke up, this event here, 5, because when that broke up, it also really, you also weren't doing well physically. You may not have, you possibly were not doing well financially. It was like, it was a dark time, right? A relationship broke up that you hoped wouldn't break up, but it did. And also you weren't really doing so well. I'm going to say right now, of course, you're doing very, very well, right? But that's what's associated with that. And so you see this person, some of you are going to running into this ex or still thinking about an ex, I feel like. And it's like you're desperate not to go back to that dark place. Yeah. Knight of Cups. Wow. You're desperate not to go back to that dark place. And you're kind of, it's like Libra, typical Libra, you're balancing at this, sign of the scales. You're kind of trying to balance here, right? You have this deep, deep desire to be someplace and this is about love, by the way, Libra. This is all about love. You have this deep desire to be someplace in a relationship with somebody that's really fulfilling all of your dreams. But the relationship that was going to do that broke up. That relationship, the one you really want that dream with, doesn't have the capacity for manifesting that. It's not there. It's broke up. You still miss it. You wish there's a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas feelings of well, if they just this, or if I just this, we could have had, a lot of that, right? And it really it throws you for a loop because you're still kind of affected and connected to it. Nevertheless, you go forward. You're like, no, I'm with somebody new now. And you put all this energy into them, right? You try to pretty much turn your back and say, look, you may be wanting them to go away with you. You're like, oh, let's go away. You're trying to drum up an intense amount of romance here with the person you're with currently. Now, not all of this is going to resonate with you, even if you do resonate with the reading. Not every aspect of it will resonate with you. Some aspects are for others and some are for you. But ultimately, it feels very much, Libra, here like you are really ramping up your attention and energy with the person you're with right now, because most recently, you're really kind of shocked to see someone. And when you saw them, you were shocked by the intense feelings it caused you. Right? And you were feeling like you were over it. I'm over it. I'm past it. Everything's great. And you see them and it's like, oh shit, I'm not over it. And this panic sets in. 2 of Cups. This panic sets in. 9 of Cups. It's like all your cards practically are cup cards. Cups. You know what I'm saying? Cups. All about love. 4 of Cups. And still, it's not. And at the bottom of the deck, this is all about the fact that somebody who you really wanted to be the one would not take your cup of love. So you've been kind of sort of rebuffed by the one you really want to be with, and that really caused you some pain. And you're putting a lot of energy into this person that you're with now, whom you're happy with. Let's get it, let me not confuse that. 9 of Cups is there, 6 of Cups. You're happy with the person you're with right now. You're really, really happy with them. And you want more with them. Some of you may be wanting to get married. The High Priest is there. You might be wanting to solidify that. But I feel here, Libra, that is deep down in your heart of hearts. It's just like a Band-Aid. Deep down inside, you're doing all of this to sort of cover up the fact that you're still heartbroken over somebody else. And that who you truly desire is somebody else. That's who you truly, truly desire. But you're convinced, here it feels strongly like you're really doing everything you can to convince yourself that being happy here with this is enough. And it may indeed be enough. It's very much a case of if you can't be with the one you want, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with, right? If you can't be with the one you truly, truly love, at least settle for, be satisfied with loving the person you're with right now. And that is this reading in a nutshell. You cannot be with the one you really want, the one you really wanted to be with, the one that you consider your soulmate. And so you're doing everything you can to sort of make what you have right now fit into that mold instead. There's some opportunity for money to come in, which is really helpful. Because a lot of what you want is going to depend on money. Nevertheless, I will say that you still have that over this next period, aside from all of this energy, and because you're putting so much energy into this person you're with now and trying to make this sort of fit your dream instead, right? You do have this goal here that feels like for you, some of you Libras, right? This is a secondary message that you have your eye on the ball about something, right? And that you're really trying to accomplish. And this may have something to do with your health or your fitness, right? There's some work that you're planning to do on yourself. That's, the desire for that is coming in. Your vision for that is coming into you, and the opportunity to do that is coming in. So I want to say on the back of all of this, and I'm not sure if it's because Page of Swords, confidence, a little bit of confidence is coming in for you. This chance meeting here that happened where you saw this person and ran into, something happened that made you think about them again. And I do feel like you physically saw them somewhere. Because that's what caused such a strong reaction here. Again, a very strong feeling of thinking, that you have been over somebody, seeing them again and realizing, in fact, that you were not over them at all. And here you are now in a whole new relationship, and you're like, I better, now this feeling of, I better make this work because I'm here with this person. And, again, a frantic feeling here coming in, right? And so I'm not sure entirely as I come over to this work that you're going to be doing on yourself, very much a work of self-nurturing. And I feel here very much to do with health and finances, getting yourself in a good place. If that has as much to do, with seeing this ex or your desire to take this relationship the person you're with currently to a certain level. I think in either way, in either such scenario, Libra, you're recognizing the fact that you need to do some work on yourself here. Some real, and I want to say again, physical work. So this revolves around taking care of your physical health, your physical fitness, taking care of your money, taking care of your savings, taking care of, the things that you need to take care of to live in this world, in this reality, and to sustain yourself. And so this energy is coming in as well. And I would say over the next few weeks, some of you will be joining a gym, or you might be going to a doctor's visit you've been putting off for a long time, etc., or doing some things at work that's really stepping up. As I say, opportunity comes in. Do be careful. Devil energy is there. Some of you may be dealing with Capricorns, okay? You may be dealing with Capricorn. You may be dealing with Aquarius or Virgo, some of you. Okay, that energy is here also. But do take care that you don't relapse. Some of you there's a hint here of possibly relapsing into bad self-destructive behaviors. Only a hint of it. Doesn't feel strong, but there's a little touch of that here. Again, as a result of being reminded of this heartbreak here that you're now desperate to forget you even have. right? Listen, sometimes seeing that ex is rough. It's not always easy to see the ex. What can I say? It's like that takes, sometimes you when you out of sight, out of mind, right? And sometimes people are out of your mind because you haven't seen them for a while. But then sometimes it can happen. You see somebody and it just takes your breath away, and you're like, oh, okay, damn. I thought I had that under control. Spirit of Gaia, spirit of possession, spirit of the giraffe. Okay, say no more. Right, spirit of possession. Again, that may be a feeling that you have coming in because again, seeing this interacting with this individual that you associate with such heartache, right, and dark days for you in terms of being heartbroken, elicits such a response, so it's like, damn, they still possess me. Spirit of Gaia, Mother Earth, family coming down, trying to get down to earth, and spirit of the giraffe, foresight, advantage, and perception coming in. All right, Libra, take those oracle cards as you will. Okay, those are often very personal messages. Spirit of the giraffe, some of you, foresight, you know what you're seeing, you know what's going to happen next. You know what I'm saying? Act on your own intuition and your wisdom. Trust your own intuition and wisdom. And that will inform, your perception of what's to come, or your foresight, as it were. All right, Libra, I'm going to leave it there. Take a quick sip of tea. You guys check out the cards. Take it all in if you resonate with this. And then we are going to start right in on Aquarius. All right. Take a quick. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m., I do the Tuesday Air live stream, my weekly general live tarot reading for the air signs. And so we have covered Libra, we've covered Gemini, and we are going to bring out Aquarius next. Again, if you do enjoy my videos, liking, subscribing, getting notified, all of that really helps me out. It helps me because YouTube likes it, and then they show my videos more, and I can reach more people. So all of that really allows me to do more readings and provide more content. So thank you so much for taking the time if you've done so. Again, tonight at 6:30, and 7 will be the separate love readings for all the air signs. So let's retire Libra, and we are going to bring out Gemini. And for this one, Gemini does have 2 planets today. We have Mars and Pluto. All right, so Mars and Pluto. Pluto is a very mysterious planet. Listen, I am not an astrologer. I always say that. That's my disclaimer. There are plenty of excellent astrologers out there on YouTube that you can check out that will give you way more knowledgeable information. But I will say that Pluto is a very mysterious planet. Associated with, life and death. And Mars, of course, the planet of action and war. We all know that just as basic sort of mythology. So we have Mars in Aquarius today and Pluto. All right, so let me give this a big of a shuffle. And then we're going to cut your deck and get into your general reading. Again, folks, these readings are not going to resonate with everyone. It's just not. There's going to be probably many times that you come to a reading and you say, wow, that just isn't for me, and that's okay. But it's those times you come to a reading where you're like, wow, this is exactly what I'm going through, which are magical because they do help to affirm, confirm, and sometimes take you down directions where you think of things from a different perspective. And that's the idea behind the tarot, is to allow you a way to look at things from different perspectives that you may not have thought about. And so that ultimately, at the end of the day, you're making the best decision for yourself. The tarot doesn't make any decisions for you. You make the decisions for yourself based on the information that you're given. All right? All right, Aquarius, let's get right into your reading. King of Swords, 6 of Swords, King of Cups, wow, and Page of Cups. A lot of people What's going on? We have Four of Pentacles. Excuse me. King of Pentacles. Another King. Three of Pentacles. And the Ace of Wands. Bottom of the deck, more Pentacles energy. We have the Eight of Pentacles. All about work, 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 work. Putting your head down. Getting the work done. You know, all of that. Let's move this over a little bit. So, Aquarius, what is going on with you over this next period? You have a lot of people in your life right now. You know, these court cards coming in for you like this. I'm going to say that this week, Aquarius, you're dealing with a lot of personalities. I think you're dealing with a lot at work, right? And in general, the way you're going about your day-to-day activities, right? So this week is a week where you're really being called to get into sort of your leadership role, right? You're having to lead. This may be at work. This may be projects that you're involved with, but it just really feels like you're having to take the reins. You're having to be in charge. You're having to also be quite strict this week. There may be things in your personal life as well that you're having to be strict about. There is a concern with money. Four of Pentacles comes in. There is a concern, a fear, or wanting to hold on to something right now. And so you may be going through a period of flux when it comes to your job and the way that you're approaching your job and your money, the way you make your money, and your sort of, I want to say, habits and lifestyle. So this week, I feel like you're being very self-disciplined. At the same time, you're being very disciplined with those around you. And you're feeling like you have to do that to maintain your security and stability. Some of you may be traveling this week, right? You may be traveling over the next few weeks, just getting away. But it feels good. This is a good reading. You have a King of Cups, Page of Cups energy there. Some of you have a couple of lovers coming in, I want to say. You have, I feel like to me, Aquarius, that some of you have a definite lover. And then you have somebody who is just, flirting with you, coming into you, showing you a little bit of attention. It's quite interesting that they would show up. Listen, for some of you, well, we'll get back to that. It could be something new. Let's get to this. All right, so death, big change. So again, it can be that it's at work. There may be huge upheavals and changes, which is another reason why you're finding yourself having to be really strict, right? Some of you are coming off of, I want to say, some of you are going into remote working, okay? Some of you are coming from a place of working with others, and then you may be shifting gears into remote working, which is requiring you to sort of move, do a lot of, not traveling as you would going into work, but traveling because of setting up remotely, or maybe traveling to remote locations or work that requires a lot of travel coming in. But there's a shift here, right? And this is also, Aquarius, you're feeling like I'm going to have to be much more disciplined in order to do this. And so this is where this energy is coming from. It's a big change. Death has come in. There's a big shift happening in what you're doing and how you do it. And because you need to pay your bills, you've got to figure out a way. And again, for some of you, you have somebody on your side, a love connection who's very strong. You may be married. Some of you are definitely married to a very strong connection. But interesting, there is someone in there. There's also someone else in your life who's just giving you a little bit of attention right now. And you may be enjoying it. You have Queen of Cups, King of Cups, and the Page. Okay. Five of Pentacles. Yes. Interesting. Moving away. So this is all because of trying to resonate up. And there's your Three of Pentacles right next to the other three. So this is a reaffirmation that this big upheaval, this change is all about you stepping up your money. It's all about you increasing your financial stability. You're having to change jobs. You're having to change the way you work. And it's just a little bit discomforting, but the work is there. You're putting the work in. It's just that the change is a little bit discomforting. Some of you are going into more remote work. Some of you are coming out of remote work. But that, the nature of the change is in that area, I feel. And that's what I feel this message is saying. And that's, yes, either way that you're changing, you require discipline. I need a sip of water, folks. You're requiring discipline. And you know that. You know you need to discipline yourself. And also, depending on the change, you're needing to discipline others around you. But you are working towards a position of authority, King of Pentacles coming. You're working towards, you already have a position of, over here in terms of setting your authority and your boundaries. But when it comes, you're working towards a position of higher status, promotion, etc. So all of this is increasing your status, okay? At work, it's increasing your paper, it's increasing your responsibilities. You may be working with more people, regardless of the change, going remote or coming off of remote. You're working with more people, you're interacting with more people. You know, Three of Pentacles twice, you know, gain, you're increasing. But it's a lot at first, right? And as I say, you have somebody very strong in your corner who's supporting you, who's definitely, you know, the omega to your alpha, that, you know, they love you, you love them, and they're there, and they're kind of like really strong and solid in that regard. Empress, while you are really doing everything you can to level yourself up, you know, level yourself up. Empress comes in, it's beautiful energy. And then we have the shadow side, interesting. The devil coming in with the Ace of Wands. So this here, right? Aquarius is the devil in a sense that everything is working out well here. But because of this shift, location shift, time shift, or I want to say environmental shift in how you're working, where you're working, etc., there's a little opening here that's happening for somebody who wants to come in, give you a cup of love. They want to come in, just let you know they're interested in you. They're like, hey, how you doing, Aquarius? You want to go for coffee, whatever. And there's attraction here. Passion. There's attraction here. So watch out. You know, for some of you who are traveling for work and you're not home, listen, cats away, mice will play. You're the one away and playing, you know. So be careful. This is a side energy that comes in. I feel like it's coming in towards the end of this change and work that you have. Right? Because some of you are changing this scenario, this is exactly what's giving the opportunity for this particular person to even come into you. You may have just met them. I do feel like there's somebody new. This is not somebody you know. This is somebody who's new to you. And Aquarius, just as a side message for some of you, this isn't going to be for all of you, but as a side message for some of you, be careful playing with fire. You know? Be careful. The devil, shadow side is the devil. Can be careful. All right. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because you have a solid person here. Now, some of you may be in an open relationship. That's fine. If you're in an open relationship, whatever. But my caution here is because of this devil energy, which is reminding you that things are not all innocent here. There's an aspect here that isn't innocent and therefore can be categorized as somewhat self-destructive. And again, as I say, you want to be careful playing with fire, because playing with the devil is playing with fire. Oops, spider spirit wanted to come out. Fate, destiny, free will. Free will. At the end of the day, you guys all have free will, right? Spirit of the stone, spirit of the wind, frozen, delayed, longing. Okay, some of you may be, because of travel and stuff, you may be longing for your partner. You may be longing for certain things, again, that may be leading you into certain activities, behaviors, etc. Take that as you will. Oracles, as I say, are very personal. Spirit of the wind. Things are moving. There's a lot of activity, a lot of disruption. That's exactly what I see here for you, right? All this disruption and activity and change and movement. But again, all of this is very good. You're resonating up. A lot of you are getting promotions. You're getting to a higher level in the company or a higher status, or in the business that you work with, or you're increasing your capacity if you own your business, whatever. There's increase coming in. There's increase, there's money, there's working more with others. So yes, while at the same time there's a lot of movement and disruption and change, right? Huge change, death, very big changes coming in. Ultimately, this is working towards your increase in blessings and financial liquidity, cash flow, etc. It's just going to require a lot of hard work. And again, do take care. Some of you, you know, dallying, playing with, others. Whatever your situation is, there's no judgment, but when, depending on your situation, when you're playing with fire. Let me put it to you this way. And so do take care not to make decisions or choices that you're going to regret later. All right, Aquarius, I'm going to leave it at that. Everyone who joined me today, thank you so much. You come in and out. Maybe your sign, you're waiting for your sign, whatever. I love these morning 11 a.m. live streams. I just go through all the signs and, see all of you here throughout the hour. So thank you so much. Again, asking you one more time, if you do like my content, go ahead and subscribe and give me a thumbs up, or perhaps share it with somebody in your life you think could use this reading. Those are the little things that really help my channel and help me be able to continue to give you these readings and give you even more content. But that's it, guys. Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, all of you, thank you so much. Cross watchers, thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see you guys tonight in your love readings. And for right now, I'm just going to wish you all love, life, and happiness. And stay tuned for my schedule of live streams coming up right now.